What's up, everyone? Thrift here from Northside High School for a Patriots, and I am with the leader of Patriot Athletics. His name is Morgan Ingram. He's the longest tenured, one of the longest tenured in our area, definitely the longest tenured here in Muskogee County. Coach Ingram, thank you so much for allowing us to be here, man.
Thank you guys for coming out.
All right, we look forward to getting into Patriot Athletics from last year, who are leading some of the programs this year. We're going to talk about that, but first, this is year 18 at Northside, 28 overall. Have you been able to kind of like look back and think, man, what a long career, and then being at Northside, a place you've called home, and then when you think Northside, you obviously think Morgan Ingram.
Yeah, I've had a great career. I've been at 3 schools here in Muskogee County. That's my entire teaching and coaching career has been in Muskogee County. I did 8 years at Columbus High School.
Yep.
Went to Hardaway as head football coach, 06 through 08, and then been here ever since. So it's been a great run at Northside. We've had a lot of good success. We've had some trials just like everywhere else, but I feel like we have it in a really good place, and it's a really consistent program year in and year out.
Yeah, in every single sport, Coach. That's what I will give you credit. Every single sport. There may be some down years, but in the end, you're always competitive, always one of the top 4 teams in your region, making a playoff push. When you talk about Northside, for those in the community can understand, what does being a part of the Northside family mean? I don't think many people hear about it because it's not the oldest school, it's the actually newest school out of all of Muskogee County schools. So it doesn't have near the history some of the other ones do, but still, we're going on over 20 years now, Coach. Time to talk about the family here at Northside.
Yeah, Northside was established, I think, in 02. I think the first class may have been 03, if I'm not mistaken. But so yeah, we're the newest high school in Muskogee County. Just both of my children went here. There's been a lot of our faculty members' children that went here. A lot of district personnel children went here. So, it's a fabulous school. It offers a little bit of everything.
Right.
You have very high level academics. You have very high level athletics, sports activities, unlimited. I speak to all the freshmen every year, so I tell them, I said, if you're not involved at something at Northside, it's just because you don't want to be.
Right.
There's something for everybody, and so that's what we love about the school. That's what and it is like a big family.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, I've been here 18 years. I've gone through 3 different principals now, and so, or I'm on my 3rd principal now. So it's a lot has changed, but a lot has stayed the same as well.
Yeah, no doubt, Coach. And it's funny that you were just talking about having people that have actually coached that played here many years ago that have come back, wanting to give back to the school. And obviously seeing the success from baseball and softball state championships has been pretty cool as well. Coach, now in your career, is there things that you feel like you still want to accomplish? As an AD, you've won multiple state championships in multiple sports. Yep. You've done a great job having consistent winners every year. You really don't feel like you have the itch to get back on the football field. You did everything you want to accomplish there. What is left for you to still, and why do you are motivated to keep coming back year in and year out here at Northside?
Oh, we continuously strive to improve the experience for our kids. And that to me, that's what it all revolves around, is the kids. So we try to put the best people we can in charge of our programs. And I say people on purpose because we want good human beings.
Right.
Yes, having X's and O's, having all the X's and O's and having the experience is terrific, but we want good people. And that's what we've been able to do. It's getting harder and harder to find replacements for coaches as they decide not to coach or retire or whatever it might be. So it's getting a little harder and harder to find those replacements.
Right.
But we've been really blessed here at Northside. People want to come here. People want to work here. People want to go to school here. A lot of people don't leave. Like me. Once you get here and you know how good it is, you don't want to leave.
Right.
So we've been really blessed in a lot of ways. So for me personally, it's just the constant striving to improve just little things. And I can't pinpoint any one particular thing, but it's just about the experience for our kids.
Right. And you brought up the freshman orientation that just happened. Every school has to do that. Mm-hmm. And you're still fired up, motivated. You love being in front of the kids. I've seen how you interact with the kids. When I come up here, when I was giving away those players of the game, you enjoy it. You enjoy being around young people and helping develop them. And over the years, you know, athletes are obviously different, but yet you've been able to adapt. What do you attribute that to? Who were some of those mentors or people in your life that helped you become the man you are, that can adapt over 20 years of different athletes?
Right. Well, I think the biggest thing I attribute that to is being a dad.
Right.
So both of my children went to school here. Both were multi-sport athletes. So I attribute a lot of that to just being a dad and knowing all their friends and different kinds of kids. So that's probably the biggest thing. You know, growing up in this district, I've had lots of people I looked up to.
Right.
You know, Jim Womble was the AD at Columbus High when I first started.
Yep.
Learned a lot from him. You know, and just over the years and all the different people I've gotten to work with. Right. You know, it's getting to the point now I'm older than all of them, or been here longer, and,
right.
and that's kind of weird. But you know, it's too many to try to name. James Wilson,
right.
Matt Bell,
yep.
You know, Marty Richburg, all these people that have been my principals over the years that allowed me to do my job and didn't interfere with me doing my job. You know, I appreciate those guys and owe a lot to them for what I've been able to do.
You're a very humble guy. You're great in interviews, but you're not always out in the forefront saying, hey, I did this, I did that, but I'll be one to share your accomplishments, Coach, because I think you should be celebrated. Obviously, being somewhere for a long period of time and being successful. It's not just being somewhere and just, hey, I'm clocking in and clocking out. You don't have that mindset when you're doing your job. You didn't have it when you were coaching. You don't have it now as an AD. To all those young people out there that are striving to be like you are, and I think a potential Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Famer, you're not here somewhere for this long winning this many championships, Coach, and not going to eventually be a Hall of Famer. So if you ain't going to say it, I'm going to say it for you out there, for all those that are watching right now. But for the young and up-and-coming AD guys and women, what's your advice to them on how to be successful year in and year out when it can be tiring replacing coaches and having new athletes that have come through the school? How do you do it?
That's a hard question to answer. To me, and probably I've never really thought about it in those terms, but to answer your question, I think you got to have a set of standards that you're going to try to meet.
Yep.
And you never waver from those. So we're looking for good people. You know, when it comes to coaches, we're looking for good people first. And we want to put people who we trust our kids with.
Yep.
You know, am I going to sit here and say all my coaches are perfect? They're angels? No,
yeah.
Of course not. But they care about the kids,
right.
And that's the number one thing that we keep in the forefront here is it's all about the kids.
No doubt.
You know, and everybody doesn't agree with the way I do things.
Yeah.
You know, even people here don't always agree with the way I do things, and that's fine. That doesn't bother me at all. But because I feel confident in what we have in place, I feel confident about the stability of the program overall. So I think, you know, just keeping things in focus, keeping things in front of you that you know you're doing the right thing.
Right.
You know, and like I said earlier, we got coaches that come and go. We got athletes obviously come and go every 4 years. So it's a continuous change, but if you stay on that standard, then you should be fine. And so going back to your question about the young ADs,
right.
I would say two things. Number one, time can't play a factor in it, and money can't play a factor. Because if you're in this for saving time and you're in this to make money, you're probably in the wrong business.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Again, we're with Morgan Ingram, the longtime Northside athletic director. You see the championship trophies that we have here, baseball and softball.
We're missing rifle.
And we're missing rifle too, and also many region championships and stuff. We could have had a plethora of trophies, but we decided baseball and softball, those are two, and we could have put rifle, didn't have enough room.
Yeah.
Most recent state championship trophies.
Yeah.
Coach, we cannot end this first part without talking about someone very near and dear to your heart, who's also a big part of Muskogee County Athletics, which is your wife, Casey Ingram.
Right. Also
having her. And I want you to help again. And this interview, I think, is enlightening to everybody understanding the nuances of being an AD. You talk about saving time. You don't have a lot of time with your family either, and your daughters and your wife. And how do y'all make it work? And also her being an AD, y'all got to be on the same page. You got to be understanding of each other's job and love what y'all are trying to build together. Talk about y'all's relationship and why it's been so successful over these years, man.
Well, probably the biggest thing that makes it allows us to be able to manage it is understanding what each other does.
Right.
You know, our jobs are different, but in a lot of ways they're the same. And it's like I told you earlier, if you make time an issue, then you're going to fail, because there's things that pop up that are going to take a lot more time than you expected. There's going to be, you know, times where you have to stay late when you didn't really expect to.
Right.
But, you know, it's just something Casey and I have managed all these years, particularly when our girls were growing up. That's when it was really tough. But our girls didn't know any different.
Right.
That's all they ever knew. So,
sports.
Yeah. And so them adapting, I mean, they were up here all the time. They were at Midland Middle School when she was there. Erin Coleman, you know, she's there. So they were at school all the time.
Right.
You know, they probably spent more time in schools than they spent at home. So, you know, they do homework in our training room.
Right.
Just you name it. But that's what our kids knew, and that's how they grew up. And I think they appreciated it after, you know, so. But yeah, that's how we manage it. We just trust each other. We communicate. I mean, to me, in this game, communication is the number one.
No doubt.
The number one priority in coaching, administration, parenting, spouse, you know, relationship is communication. And if that's good, then that kind of makes everything else better.
Yeah.
Or helps everything else.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where we really struggled. I mean, there were times where, you know, all those years when I was in football, and very few times in the summer I could even go on family vacations. So, you know, they might go off on vacation and I might have to come later or something like that. But that's just part of the job.
Right.
And if you elect to do that job and you love doing that job like I did, then it was worth it.
Right.
You know, because you were going to adjust your time and spend other time with your family.
Right.
So that's how we did it.
You know, a great answer, Coach. The sacrifices that you had to do for other people's kids to help get them into school, achieve their dreams. You really got to love what you do in this profession. And before anyone takes a step in, knowing what you're getting into before you do it, and before you marry someone, they need to understand what you're getting into too. Communication. I like that.
Well, that's the way. I mean, we've been married 28 years, and that's all we've ever known.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you got married your first year on the job when you started teaching and coaching.
Yeah.
We're with Morgan Ingram. He's the athletic director here at Northside High School, sitting with an athletic director, state of the programs. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about all those programs right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Hi, my name is Griff Gordy, and here at Gordy Eye Care, we have been serving the Bi-City community for 17 years. As a former state championship quarterback, I love the fact that I can watch local high school athletics from the comfort of my own home. So it was a no-brainer to support Georgia Alabama Sports Live and what they do for young athletes in our area.
And without business like yourself, Gordy Eye Care, none of our coverage would be possible to be able to cover the 16 different high schools, the local colleges, and professional teams. So we'd like to say thank you to you, Dr. Griff Gordy and Gordy Eye Care, for your support of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And you can make an appointment today at Gordy Eye Care with the number 334-291-5125. Keep supporting Gordy Eye Care and keep watching Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Welcome back from the break, everyone. Sitting with an athletic director, state of the programs, Northside, and we're with Coach Morgan Ingram. We'll start with football, as we always do on these, and Coach Warpeza. Last year, promising year, started undefeated, Coach, and I was my pick to win the region, but then injuries kind of derailed it. And obviously, finishing 500 is no slouch in that tough region. It's got Jonesboro, Swords Mills, Harris County, Central Carroll. But talk about what Coach O had to go through last year and your expectations for this year.
Yeah, Coach O is a model of consistency. He's kind of an old soul. He came up with Dwight Jones and other coaches, but he learned a lot from Coach Jones, and he's kind of got that old mentality of old school football. And he's just, we talk about being consistent and having the same standard and always expecting the same standard to be met. I think he has done that in his 6th year, I believe, and it's just like any other program. It's had ups, it's had downs. We've changed regions. A lot of people don't know that every school in Columbus is in AA and we're in 4A. And so what
the only school that's in 4A in Muskogee County.
Us in Harris County are 4A, and we're in an extremely tough region for most sports, but particularly football.
Right.
So yeah, this year coming up, we're going to have to replace our 4-year starting quarterback, Caden Clay. He's going to Charleston Southern to play football, and so we're going to have to replace him. So that's a big. Kingston Rivers, another big replacement we got to make.
Yep.
Among all the other seniors that we lost, and other transfers, and other kids that aren't playing, or whatever it might be. We're rebuilding in a sense, but I know they've been working their tail off this summer. Been going to 707s, hitting the weight room really, really hard. So I think they're going to be prepared when Friday night rolls around.
I can't wait for it, Coach. And like I said, Coach O, sustaining success, being consistent, that's the toughest thing in this business.
Absolutely.
And year in and year out, he's doing that. He's on the precipice of making the playoffs last year, had some golden opportunities, but again, injuries kind of derailed it. And Caden Clay, what can you say about him? Phenomenal athlete, and glad he's going on to the next level. We're going to be cheering him on for sure. Kingston River is going to play NAIA football next year.
Right.
He should be excellent. Now let's talk about softball. So Sydney Spray, who is now Sydney Carey-Story. I want to make sure I put that out there because many people know her as Spray, but she's now Carey-Story. Shout out to JK, who leads FCA around here. She took over, and it was in a tough position, Coach. For one, she just had a newborn. Right. She's taken over for a legend in Brandon Jenkins, who just won back-to-back. None of that is ideal, and you know the pressure that comes on when you're replacing someone like a Brandon. I thought she killed it, hit it out of the park. I think she did it better than most people would ever do in their first time as a lead job. Talk about what she was able to do last year, going to the semifinals, and how excited you are for her being the leader of Northside.
Well, you talking about being put in a tough position.
Yeah.
I mean, not only, like you said, was she having a child, not only was she, juggling that with a new family, with also taking over the type of program she was taking over.
Right.
It was just a lot. And I can't commend her enough for the job she did, along with her assistant coaches, who were humongous helps to her, because her assistants and Coach Riles and Coach Wilson and all those guys, they have a lot of experience, and so that is huge for a young new head coach like she was last year. That was just huge to have that experience to fall back on,
right? And
to have that those kind of people to look to, and we had a lot of conversations between her and I. But, I just think she did a tremendous job. And you take away a couple of injuries, there's no telling what could have happened.
Yeah. You don't lose Michael Jordan and Abby Lovell, and it's just easy to replace, Coach. No matter how deep you are, you can't just replace a talent like her.
It affects the entire team, and it did. And so, what happened, and we were really proud of the season they had. They flew out to Colorado and played in a national tournament and won that thing.
Unbelievable, man.
I don't know what their winning streak was last year. It was
like
longest
25,
in school.
28, something like that.
Yeah, longest winning streak in school history against very tough competition. Won the region. So it was just a tremendous season. I think Sid is looking forward to this season, where it's kind of a fresh start. She is losing a lot of seniors, so a little bit of rebuild there as well. But she has tremendous talent coming back. I know she's excited about it. She's had a lot of positive things happen. Her and JK are terrific. JK played football for me here years ago.
That was your quarterback?
Yeah, long time ago. So, so we just love that family. We think the world of them. And it's like, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, it's just good people.
Right.
You got good people in charge of that program, just like Coach O. I mean, you got good people in charge of it. You trust what they're bringing to the table. So, it does nothing but improves the experience for those kids.
Yeah, no doubt, Coach. And excited about this upcoming year, in year number 2. Now she gets kind of established her culture, her foundation, and we're going to be doing quite a few Northside games. I told her that, so we're looking forward to being here this spring. It's going to be a lot of fun. Scrappy bunch. Doesn't have an Abby level, but it still can be a very competitive, and I would not count them out at all. You can sleep on Coach Carey-Story all you want. We're not doing that, are we, Coach?
We still got a lot of really good softball players. So.
No doubt about it. All right, now let's move on to cross country. It's a sport that doesn't get talked about in fall, but I think it's the toughest sport. I'm saying tough for the football coach to go out and run in that heat for 5 to 10 miles. No chance I was going to be able to do that. I hated running back in the day. Talk about who leads the cross country program.
Coach Maddie Fisher is our head cross country coach. Coach Meredith Shepard helps her coach that team, and they do a tremendous job. And our boys and girls they work really hard all summer. They do a lot of running. They get a lot of miles over summer. I do know, in particular, how hard that sport is. My daughter ran 4 years here, and it was eye-opening for me as a parent because I never was involved in cross country. So just to see the dedication and like you said, it's extremely tough. It's a mental thing more than anything, and to be able to run through pain or run through heat or whatever, it's really interesting and fun to watch. With the renovations going on at Kinnett Stadium, we're looking at hosting some meets around here around the school. So we're mapping out a course. Coach Shepard's been really heading that up, mapping out a course around here where we can run some stuff here. And I don't know how much we'll run here, but just give us another option in town to be able to run some cross country. But our cross country team has been successful, many years. So we're really proud of them.
I do got to ask, since you talked about the maybe having track meets, your relationship with Parks and Rec, and why is that so important? Because that's where you host your softball games, and you got to have a good relationship with them. Make sure they maintain the field. That's your home. Okay, that's Northside's field, but it is used for the community. Kind of talk about that relationship you have to have with them and how important that is, Coach.
Well, several schools have that same relationship. I know Columbus High using Lake Bottom a lot, and in different sports having to do that. But yeah, in our relationship to the Northside Rec right here, where softball is played, where we plan on running some cross country, where we plan on, a lot of our kids intermingle between the two locations. But yeah, that relationship is really important because, just for example, we host a big softball game. That takes up all the parking over there.
There is none left.
And so the recreation people, the rec department or the rec center over there, we have to talk a lot to them about the parking, about this and that, because we're occupying the same space, so to speak. And you got multiple softball fields over here, so you might have another team trying to practice on this field while we're playing a game. So a lot of communication there. So yeah, that relationship is real important, and I think we do have a good relationship with them, and we're able to work out any kinks that we get.
That's awesome, Coach. I just popped in my brain. I'm like, you have to share the field.
That's really important. Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially that shared space, knowing on a game day, exactly. Because, Coach, and we'll talk about baseball in a moment, but a softball game, for everybody to understand, that's packed every single time. I don't care who you're playing, Coach. The entire community comes out supporting Northside. Not just Northside fans. I'm talking about everyone wants to see the top program in the city. Volleyball made the playoffs last year, has a really good program. Who leads that, and how excited about 2025?
Yeah, Cassia Roper, she's married, so her name is Cassia Burks now. She is our head volleyball coach. Sam Dunton helps her.
Awesome.
So we're really, they got some really good young players coming in. They got some veteran players coming back, so we're really excited about that program as well this year. We've had our gym floor totally redone, and
awesome.
And we made some adjustments with the volleyball court, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out on the new court down here. So.
I can't wait to talk about some of those improvements around the facility, but that's awesome. I know that's something major needed to be done. And can't wait to be in here and do a volleyball game. Cheerleading. You got competition cheerleading. You got, obviously, Friday night setting the atmosphere, and basketball, football, and basketball cheerleading. Talk about who leads those programs.
Yeah, so we've had a change in our cheerleading staff. Kelly Gentry, who was on staff last year, is our head cheerleading coach. Samaja Sears, who actually cheered here years ago, and I think she graduated, in 2019. She went to Western Kentucky on a track scholarship, but she's back with us and been back with us a couple of years, but she's going to join our cheerleading staff this year. Nikki Rollinson, longtime cheer coach, Harris County and Northside in the area. She's helping out as well. So we're really excited. We'll have Friday night football cheer. We'll have our competition cheer. We're going to do the game day cheer, I believe, this year.
Awesome.
We're still working on basketball cheer. Just not sure about all that yet, but yeah, we're really excited about that program in the new leadership.
Oh, that's awesome. And we're going to move forward as we'll take a quick break. We got winter sports coming up next, and we'll start that with flag football right after this break here on City with an Athletic Director, City of the Programs on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Here Here comes more big rigs, loaded with new GMC trucks and SUVs to Glenn Smith and Opelika. Choose from a huge selection of full-size GMC Sierras, discounted up to $13,000 off, and enjoy no payments until September. Plug into the future with the exciting new GMC Sierra EV, now with a 36-month lease for just $799 a month. That's right, just $799 a month. Glenn Smith GMC, now celebrating 33 years. Get ready to drive and get ready to smile.
And we are back here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and we're going to start with flag football. It's on like the end of fall, start of winter, and we're talking to the guy that coached flag football. Now, I don't know what he thought, but when he got into this, he didn't think he was about to become the Bill Belichick of flag football coaching, but he did, and he thoroughly enjoys it. He spends a lot of time on it, Coach. How was the first year as the lead guy for the flag football team for you? Because it looked like you were having a lot of fun out there.
Oh, I did. I enjoyed every bit of it. It's one of those things where you think, it's an up-and-coming sport. So you think it may not be as serious. It may not be as so much entail, but I'm not the kind of guy that can just do it and halfway do it. If I'm doing it, I'm gonna be all in. And Aaron Wilson, who played for me at Hardaway, he helps me. So we really spent a lot of time on it. We really enjoyed every second of it.
Awesome.
Went to the playoffs.
Yep.
Came up a little short in the playoffs, but we enjoyed it. It was a lot of learning. I played flag football way back in the day in college, and I've been around this sport since it started in the state. Me and Jeff kind of got it started here in Muskogee County, so I've been around it a long time. But when you start coaching it and getting into the X's and O's and watching the game, especially when you got programs like Harris County and Columbus High that really raise the bar on you. I mean, you either step up or you get left behind. And, and we came up short to those two, but we did learn a lot.
Yeah.
We have some super girls that play tremendous athletes.
Yeah.
We got to figure out a better job of how to use those athletes. That's where I'm sitting is I got to do a better job of using those athletes and figuring out, the best plan for what we have. And I think we got a lot of them coming back.
Yeah.
We lost a couple, but we got a lot coming back, and we're really excited about it.
I think it's going to be a fun season for sure, especially in this region.
I got as much into that as I did regular football.
I was about to say, Coach, you were firing off at all cylinders, man.
Yeah, fired up.
I cannot wait for the upcoming flag football season. You made mention of Harris County, Columbus, Pacelli, Central. This area is a hotbed for flag football.
Oh, yeah.
And now I think you're on the up and coming. It should be a fun year for next year. So I'm glad you're enjoying it, Coach. Basketball, two teams that kind of are rebuilding, but I'm telling you, from what I've seen, young and really improving talent. And I think in the next 2 to 3 years, Northside basketball led by Coach Woods, Darquella Woods, and girls, and Greg Johnson for the boys are going to have top-notch programs.
Well, I hope you're right. I watch them and I see the improvement they're making, and I just it goes back to what I said earlier about having great experiences for our kids, and our girls love Coach Woods.
They do.
I'll start with her, but they love Coach Woods. They trust Coach Woods. They'll run through a wall for Coach Woods. She'll do the same for them, and you can see it. I mean, they made the playoffs last year and really had a good run there at the end, and were playing well, and we had a young team.
Yeah,
and that's the good problem is you had a young team that was being very successful. And the boys, we have a dynamic athlete in Xavier. He's a
phenom now,
yeah,
Coach.
X is really good. We got and a lot of the young kids. Greg made a big point of playing a lot of his young kids last year to build around that, and
right.
and the improvement they made over the year was really impressive. To watch them play, and
no doubt,
and watch those young kids kind of meld together. And he had some senior leadership or senior guys that contributed, but a lot of those young kids were really impressive to me last year. The way they fought, the way they didn't back down, the way we're playing Jonesboro, who's one of the top programs in the state.
Yeah.
We're battling. So it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was, and obviously Coach Johnson and Coach Woods have both won region championships. They've been top programs. They've been consistent, and obviously last year was a little bit of a lump with the young team, but they knew what they were doing. They wanted to build with the young groups, and then they can have 3 or 4
Extremely
years.
tough region basketball-wise.
And then almost in every sport we can talk about that, Coach.
Yeah.
How about a sport that you've been successful at and won a state championship? The rifle team. Who's leading that program, Coach?
We got Coach Michael Campbell that leads our rifle program. They ended up 10th in the state, I believe, this year. We've actually won 4 rifle state championships. That's been our most successful program overall in the history of Northside. But they've won 4 state championships.
Wow.
3 really early on when the school was first built. Our latest was 2015. That program's up and coming. We had a really good run. We were undefeated until the finals this year, I believe, and we ended up, I think, 10th in the state. So that was really exciting. So we look for big things coming up with rifle.
Yeah, wrestling. That's another big program that we were able to stream some wrestling matches last year, and we were able to get Northside as well. And who leads that wrestling program that is, I think you thoroughly enjoy going to watch too. And we actually broadcasted some games this year, Coach, which is pretty cool to do.
Yeah, our wrestling coach is Chastity Tillman.
Okay.
So Chastity has been our head wrestling coach. I think this will be her 3rd year. So she's gaining more experience and taking over a program like she did from Coach Redmond, who had led it for a long, long time.
Right.
When he went to Hardaway. Taking over that program was a lot for her at the beginning, but she has stuck it out. She is a trooper. She's somebody I trust thoroughly.
Right.
Another good person. I know she's going to treat the kids good. I know she's going to take care of them. I know she's going to work them hard. I mean, they've been up here this summer doing stuff as well. So we're really excited about that program as well.
Swimming. Who leads the swimming program here at Northside?
Swim is a program that, it's almost like a rotating door of coaches because it's a very specific skill set, and you got to have specific people that if you want somebody that can really build a program and really understand the sport, it's hard to find because there's just not that many. So this year we're still, Kelly Gentry and Madison Ramirez ran it the last couple of years, but with Kelly taking over cheerleading, she's not going to do swim, and Madison just had her 2nd child, so she won't be coaching anymore. So we're kind of in the middle of trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do with the swim program. But we've had a lot of success in swim over the years. We've had a lot of good swimmers. I know Coach Battle's daughter, one of them just graduated last year and went on to college, and he's got another one coming up this year. So, it's a really fun program to watch and very interesting. My youngest daughter swam, and it's kind of like I was saying with cross country, just me watching it and learning stuff I had no idea about was pretty cool.
Profound respect, a new one for these sports and what they have to go through, because you think, well, it's not football, basketball, or baseball. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that they're not exerting themselves and having to work hard, and it's not a specific skill set. They work just
as hard as those others.
It may be even harder sometimes, Coach, because of that skill set. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got spring sports here on City with an Athletic Director, State of the Programs.
The clock is ticking on the spectacular pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUV sale now in progress at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Choose from over 200 pre-owned clean late model vehicles, many with no down payments and extended financing. Prices and payments on all pre-owned trucks, SUVs, and cars have been slashed. This is your chance to get a really nice used car, truck, or SUV at the price and payment you want. Some as low as $200 a month. Special finance rates are now in effect. One location only. Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama.
And we are here at Northside High School, sitting with an athletic director, State of the Programs, and I am with Morgan Ingram, longest athletic director tenure right now in Muskogee County, and one of the longest in this area. I think may be the longest, but definitely one of the longest. And he's done an amazing job, winning multiple state championships, leading this program year in and year out, all the programs to be successful. Well, we're going to spring now, Coach. We're going to start with soccer. Soccer last year, both teams, top 2 teams in the region. Very successful programs. Had to end up playing some dominant teams in the playoffs. Just again, seems like the luck of the draw when it comes to seeding in the bracket. But talk about who leads boys and girls soccer.
So our girls soccer team is led by Carissa Branch. I've been here, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I guess, and does a tremendous job. Works tirelessly at her program. Just does a tremendous job. I can't say enough about her. But the reason she is so successful and she's done such a good job is because of the kids she gets to coach.
Right.
And it goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, we want to have a positive experience, and these girls, I believe they have a positive experience with Coach Branch. And so they had a really successful year last year, ended up 3rd in the region, having to run up against Pace Academy in the first round. Atlanta private school is just extremely tough. So really proud of the way those girls played. Really tough region again.
Right.
We talked about that in most sports, but just a tough region and just had, but we all felt like it was a positive year.
Yeah.
From overall, our boys program made big leaps last year in that program. So we ended up second in the region with our boys program, won our first round game. So it was a really good year for our boys program. I just drew a blank there for a second, but yeah. We had a really successful program year with our boys program.
Yeah, and who leads the boys program, by the way?
Nathan Campbell.
Yeah, and he's done a great job there.
He did do a great job.
Again, coming in second place in the region, really successful seeing boys and girls make the playoffs. Again, year in and year out, in this region specifically, until things change. SARS Mills, Central Carroll, all these are great programs, Coach. All right, let's move on from that and let's talk track and field. That's a lot of athletes you're in charge of. Who's leading the track and field program?
Meredith Shepard is our head track and field coach. Samaja Sears helps her. Kathy Baca helps her. I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anybody out. Can't think off the top of my head, but they do a tremendous job with those athletes. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of places and things, but they had a really good year. Made it, several kids made it to sectionals and state. So. Right. We're really happy with them. Coach Shepard does a great job with those kids.
Right.
She's very, very knowledgeable. Her dad was a coach, and so she's very knowledgeable in the sport and really.
How many athletes does she normally coach, and how many would be out there? Especially with this being a 4A school.
It's about like our football team. It's probably 85, 90 kids.
Holy smokes.
Now, she runs a JV program as well and the varsity program, so she has a lot of athletes out there, and having somebody like Coach Sears, Samaja, who ran college track at Western Kentucky, is a huge help, and Coach Baca does a great job with her as well. So they really have a good thing going in track.
Tennis and golf, they're kind of the sports that get unheralded in the spring, but you've had successful tennis and golf programs. Right. Who lead both of those, Coach?
Barbara Lowe leads our tennis program. Again, kind of a building situation there as well, particularly with our boys program. Our girls had a fairly successful year, and they're just getting better and better. Coach Lowe, she's a tennis player herself, so again, it's kind of like I was saying, she brings a lot of knowledge to the sport. So
being a former athlete and playing it.
Right. She does a really good job with that program. With our golf teams, Dale Overton is our head boys golf coach. Brady Himes is our best player. I think Brady's going to be a junior. Maybe a senior. All the years run together, but Brady's a really good player. He made it to state this year and had a really good year. On our girls' side, Coach Tish Heidel, they ended up 8th in the state this year.
Wow.
Had a tremendous team. If I remember correctly, I know 2 girls that signed to play college golf. So we're really excited about that program continuing to be successful, but Coach Heidel's had a few really, really good years here lately.
Okay, that's awesome, Coach. Yeah. All right, and the final sport that we want to talk about is baseball.
Yes.
I said they're the most improved team last year, and it wasn't even close. Mm-hmm. I would have said the coach of the year in our area out of 16 schools that we cover, Tracy Powell. You made the hire. That's a home run hire. A guy that was still did have much to prove. He's been successful wherever he's been.
Right.
Got that itch again. You decided to bring him here, and you saw the fruits from that labor bringing him in, Coach.
Yeah.
A guy that was very successful, and I think is going to have a program that is going to be continuously successful as long as he's leading it. Right. Talk about that progression you saw from his first year here at Northside.
Well, it's funny. I worked with Coach Powell. We shared an office together at Hardaway back in 06 through 08.
Right.
And so we know each other really well and worked together before. But bringing him in was huge. I mean, just you can't ask for more experience. You can't ask for more knowledge. You can't ask for more enthusiasm for the game. I mean, he lives and dies baseball. I mean, that's, his father-in-law was Coach Ragsdale from Columbus State. So, so baseball is in his blood, always has been in his blood. And we worked cafeteria together every day, and pretty much every single day. That's what we talk about is baseball, and which I love. I love baseball too. But He's very knowledgeable. He pushes the kids. He has very high expectations. He cares about his kids.
Right.
He's got tremendous help. Coach Vince Massey, who is been around the area forever.
Ever, man.
At Brookstone, different. He was our head baseball coach back when the school opened here at Northside. So, Coach Massey is tremendous. Coach Steve Sparks is on the staff as well. He was our former head coach. He's still on staff. Tremendous baseball guy. You got Chad Bray. You got Graham Davis. I'm trying to make sure I get everybody. I know I'm missing somebody, but these guys do a great job with our program.
Right.
So we're really excited. And like you said, that I would probably agree with you that probably the best, most improved program overall. Just the way they, beginning of the year, there was some question marks, so, what we might have, but those guys showed up. I mean, a couple of games here and there we let get away, but, you look at some of the ones we let get away, but also some of the ones we won that, we take 2 out of 3 from stars. I mean, I don't think many people expected that. So they had a really good
on
year
the road
overall.
too, by the way, Coach.
Yeah, and run into a buzzsaw and Blessed on the road in the playoffs, and it's very difficult. So, but yeah, we're really proud of Coach Powell and his staff and those players. They had a tremendous season.
I'm glad we got able to be a part of that run, seeing them win against Midtown. Again, just the luck of the draw. This team was a game away, really, from winning the region championship, and who knows what would have happened. And I think one of the toughest regions, again, in baseball was Central Carroll, Harris County. We had 4 teams with 20 wins in the same region.
Right.
Pretty incredible.
Right.
But again, it all boils down to Coach Powell having these guys believe in what he was preaching, and I think that's something he's laying the foundation for many years. Great season for them. And we're going to take a quick break, Coach. When we come back, we'll kind of put a recap on what just happened this past year. We'll talk about any facility upgrades and what's the message for 25-26 right here on City with an Athletic Director, State of the Programs.
Hello, everybody. This is DJ Jones with the Sports Vision's morning show for the best in local, regional, and national sports news. Weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
You can find the Sports Vision's morning show on Facebook, YouTube. Also, you can listen to us on Apple and Spotify by typing in the Sports Vision's morning show, and download the Sports Vision's radio app right now in your app store today.
Sports Vision 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
It's Morgan Ingram, the Northside Athletic Director here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, sitting with an Athletic Director, State of the Programs. Coach, facility upgrades. You talked about getting the floor redone, kind of go in detail about that project and anything else that's happened over the summer.
So the biggest project was our gym floor was sanded all the way down, repainted. Really looks good. A little lighter color. We had to make some adjustments in our volleyball because of the bleachers, and so we shifted the volleyball courts over a little bit,
Awesome.
so our bleachers could let all the way out. So there, I think it looks really, really good. So that was the biggest upgrade was the volleyball courts.
Right.
And the basketball court. We did, because of Kinnett and some of the renovations, we do have a pole vault pit here now that we have poured, and they got to come finish the rubber and everything, but the track part of the runway. But yeah, we had that put in this summer. So, things are continuing to improve, and, we're just really excited about, we think we have very, very good facilities. I know there's other cities and other places around us that have a little bit better facilities, but we're really proud of ours.
Yeah, and as you should be, Coach. And I love the practice field that Coach Orpace's guys are literally out there right now getting ready.
Yeah.
Getting ready for what should be a phenomenal year this year, we hope, for Coach Orpace. Final thing, Coach, your message. Now heading into, this is year number 19. 18 here, year number 28 in the business. Holy smokes. What's the message now to when you meet with all your coaches, as you do every year? What's the message for Northside Athletics to be successful this year?
Same as it's been for the last 18 years. It's just consistency. It's positive experience for our kids, and that's what it all boils down to. We want our kids to have a positive experience when they come to Northside and play sports or do anything. But
right.
I'm involved in sports, so I want my sports to all those athletes to have positive experiences. I want them, I want them to be successful, of course.
Right.
But sometimes that comes and goes.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into being successful. success is all relative. So if you have the same standard, like I said earlier, and you stay on that line and you treat people good, you got good people in charge.
Right.
You got good leadership like we do here at Northside, it's usually going to be a positive experience.
Right.
Sometimes parents don't necessarily see it that way, and that's part of my job is to deal with those parents that get upset or question things. And I tell parents all the time, you got all the right in the world to question things.
Right.
I said, but you got to be able to handle the answer.
Right.
And that's the thing is, we're going to treat your kids right. We love your kids, and we're going to do everything we can to make them successful and to make them better people overall. And that's what it all boils down to.
Communication is the biggest thing. And I
Amen.
definitely did say lastly, but then I just thought in my head, we cannot end without you talking about your administration and the principal. And then you're actually the first AD, we're talking to Muskogee County now as your boss. Jeff Battles is moving on. And we know Kendall Mills is going to be the head guy, but I do want you to kind of talk about what Jeff has meant to you in your career as he moves on to another job, still here. Daughter still's going to go to Northside. You're still going to be friends with him and stuff, but he's moving on. So first allude to your principal and your admin that lets you be successful and give you the resources to do that. And then talk about your relationship with Jeff and then moving on to a new director of construction.
Director of construction. So yeah, like I said, I'm on my third principal here at Northside.
Yeah.
When I was hired here, it was James Wilson who was here for several years. Marty Richburg came in. He was here 10, 11 years. And now Nathan Laney is our principal. Nathan has been here he's been here longer than I have. He's probably been here 20, 21 years.
Sheesh.
Started as a science teacher and assistant football coach, was the head football coach, moved to the assistant principal job for many, many years. And then just last year took over as principal when Marty Richburg went to the chief position.
Right.
So I've been very lucky. Since I went to Hardaway with Matt Bell, every principal I've had, it's just been very, very supportive
Right.
of what I've done. And that's where I started. I consider my leadership position was at Hardaway when I was head football coach. I had Matt, and I had Mr. Wilson, Marty Richburg, now Nathan Laney, all former coaches.
Kendall Mills was there too. It was pretty funny as well.
Kendall and I were at Hardaway together as well. Coach Powell was there with us. So,
Yeah.
It's a lot of those things kind of meld together. Coach Battles came to Hardaway when I left Hardaway. So
Right.
there's a lot of things that intertwine there. But when you're old like I am, you got a lot of connections. So, but yeah, Coach Laney, he does we still call him Coach Laney. He does a great job. He's very much of a disciplinarian kind of guy. So he keeps things on the straight and narrow. So him and Mr. Harper, our new assistant principal that's in charge of discipline, they keep things running very smoothly.
Awesome.
But yeah, without that support, and I tell people all the time, I have a lot of my former players, former coaches, people I know that ask me, about being head coaches or about being ADs
Right.
or whatever. And I tell them, the very first thing I tell them is, who's the principal?
Right.
Because if you don't have that support, if you don't have that groundwork laid as, that person behind you, you're not going to be able to do your job.
No chance.
And I see it all the time at schools that people just can't do their job because people aren't letting them do their job. So
Right.
that's why I've been really, really lucky is every step along the way for me, I've had a principal that has let me do my job. So, that we have a lot of our admin here is new. We got Chelsea Rogers. She's only been assistant principal a couple of years. We got Sherry Green, who last year was her first year assistant principal.
Right.
Isaiah Harper, last year was his first year. Coach Laney was first year being principal. So we had a new admin, but they did a great job.
Awesome.
And, and what I'm proud of is the fact that, that new admin, athletics doesn't even have to be in their radar because I can handle that.
Right.
And so I let them handle the other stuff. So I do a lot with the school scheduling here as well. So, I'm able to take some stuff off of their plates where they can learn their position, where they can.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of the trend is, the older people need to take a little bit more until the newer people figure it out,
Right.
That kind of thing. I was able to do that when I first started here. I had people that helped me out a lot, experienced people.
Right.
I didn't have a whole bunch of new head coaches. I had experienced people that
Right.
allowed me to grow in my job. So that's what I try to do now is take things off of people where they can grow in their job.
Talk about Jeff Battles before we wrap up.
Me and Jeff are really close friends. We have been for a long time. Like I said, he was at Pacelli. He took over the head football coach at Hardaway when I came to Northside. Years later, he took over the Muskogee County AD job, and we've been really close ever since. He and my wife worked together a lot at the stadium, so our families are really close. So I think the world of him. He called me and told me about his new position, and I couldn't be more happy for him.
Awesome.
It goes back to what you said earlier about me and Casey in the time, and the amount of time Jeff spent, because to do the job you have to spend an enormous amount of time. Because when I was head football coach, but yeah, that lasted all year round. But my football season was only in the fall.
Yeah.
Jeff was over everything. So his was over all the schools, all the middle schools. He started elementary programs. There's so much involved in that he knew, and he was willing to spend the time with it. He got good people to help him with Kendall and my wife and Stephen Campbell,
right,
and all these guys that he brought in to help him with different areas, which was extremely smart to get good people to help you run that. But,
right.
But Jeff, he did a tremendous job, and I'm really happy for him in his new position.
Yeah.
I think hopefully for him, it'll be more of an 8 to 5 position where he can spend more time
with the family.
So, heck, I'm gonna try to talk him into coaching over here with me or something. I'm gonna, you got a kid here. I might as well try to use him if I can. But
right.
I say that picking, but I think the world of Jeff, and we've always had a good relationship. We ain't always seen eye to eye, but that's okay. I tell people all the time, we don't have to agree. We have to communicate, but we don't have to agree. And we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I would learn his side, he would hear my side, and we would figure it out. And it always ended up, to me, from my side, I always ended up with more respect, because I got a new understanding of why the decision was made, or why whatever we were looking at.
Right.
It gave me new respects. Hearing a different perspective.
Yeah.
And having somebody that you trust to give you that perspective, I think is huge. And I think Kendall will step into that.
Yep.
I'm probably going into something you're about to ask me, but Kendall, I think he's going to do a tremendous job. I mean, like I said, we worked together at Hardaway. He was head basketball coach. He worked with me in football as well. Always had a lot of respect for him. Everybody likes the guy.
Right.
He's just such a likable guy.
He is, man.
He's just.
If you find someone that says something bad about Kingdom Bills, there's something wrong with that person. I
totally agree. I mean, he's a funny guy. He always keeps the room light, but he can be serious when he needs to be serious. You got I love Linda, his wife.
She's awesome.
She's awesome too. So, I have a lot of respect for Kendall. I'm very proud that he got that job as somebody that I trust.
Right.
Not that mattered to anybody, but to me it matters that I trust that person. So, I got a couple of years remaining, so I want him to, to be able to help me, and I want to be able to help him. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I don't have all the answers, but I do think there's probably things that I kind of have seen and understand that I might could help him with some. And same with all the ADs here in town. I've talked to a lot of these guys, a lot of head coaches that bounce ideas off of me and stuff, and I feel like that's part of, with my experience, that's part of what I bring to the table.
No doubt. And communication is the biggest thing that you keep harping on for all those out there.
Say it enough.
You gotta have good communication. That's why he's been successful here in such a long period of time at Northside High School. His name is Morgan Ingram. He's head flag football coach and athletic director, sitting with an AD, state of the programs from Northside. Thank y'all so much for watching, and you'll be seeing a Northside softball program and volleyball in the not too distant future, because I know that starts right at the end of July, Coach. Unbelievable.
Kicking off soon. Yes.
Unbelievable. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.